Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football tips for Saturday, the 16th of August. This is going to be a really quick video. I'm going to scroll down and you'll see I've just had a little bit of a daft. I had a £2 free bet and it was for the football only. So I went for Bournemouth, two goals up. They're currently 1-0 down. Just for a bit of fun. This isn't a channel bet. It's just a bit of fun. Aston Villa, Newcastle draw, Forest to win, over 2.5 goals in Chelsea Palace, and over 2.5 goals in Man U Arsenal. And it would have made 300 quid. Basically, you're just hoping for the Bournemouth and the I think Liverpool. You open for the Bournemouth result and a draw between Villa and Newcastle. The rest of them, I think you've got a bit of a more realistic chance. Anyway, don't follow me in on that. So this one is a season-long bet. You don't want to see that either. It's in a different video if you want it. So what I've gone for is a 9p each way, lucky 63, and that basically emptied my account. So I tell you what, I'll be honest. I was looking at the racing and I went straight for the Ripon races, the Great St Wilford and the Consolation race. And then I clicked and I thought, God, it's dreadful racing after this. Then I realised I was on Friday's racing. So obviously the Saturday I was on the right meter, but when I clicked, I went back onto today, which was actually Friday at the time. And yeah, I thought, God, this is dreadful for a Saturday. But anyway, it's still not great for a Saturday, but it's 9p each way, lucky 63. And I tell you what, I really like the look of these, and there's some interesting angles. There are some horses that aren't running that bad. It's just that they've been drawn poorly at times, or I think they've been laid out for certain races. So the first selection is Faustus. By the way, I've left it to FP. I've left it to SP purely because the prices are dreadful. Even when I'm picking the selections, there were big prices when I was picking them. But Sky Bet are absolutely having people's pants down. That's probably got the money. That's probably got the video demonetized. Yeah, I think they've absolutely had people's pants down. I don't believe there's been that many gambles, and certainly on the selections that I've had, I think something's like 16s into nines. I'm thinking I'm not taking nines, thinking I've got good value and it could go shorter. So anyway, Faustus in the 225 at Newbury. It's actually running okay. It won this race last year when I tipped it at 16-1. And I tell you what happened. They went off like absolute clappers. And I think in the video I did say, I think they could catch them out. I think they could do the same again tomorrow. It's had a pretty much similar kind of preparation for this race as it did last year. I do believe it's £1 lower this year, and you've got Ryan Kavanagh taking £5 off. I don't know how good he is, but he did win on this horse on its penultimate, I can't even speak, penultimate run. Yeah, I think it could quite easily catch them out again if it goes straight to the front, which it's got to. Hopefully, the fewer horses that take it on, the better. Although last time, in this race last year, it was dueling for the lead after a couple of furlong, and I thought, what's going off here? And I thought, hey, they're not catching him. And then you could see him all rowing behind, but you could also see Faustus gradually getting to Faustus, but it held on, and yeah, it won at 16 that day. I think it's about 8-1 for tomorrow. The next selection is one I really like to look up, and I think they've laid this horse out. I think they've bought this horse, and they've had a good season to prep it for this race. It's the first time ever it's ran over 6 furlong. The horse is called Woodstock, and it's in the 245 at Ripon, and it's in the Silver Cup at, yeah, like I said, Ripon. So it's drawn high, and I think you must be drawn high. I think if you are drawn high and you are handicapped, you're going to be hard to kick out the frame because for me, you need to be drawn high. The low numbers, in my opinion, I'm sure it's normally on bad ground that the low numbers are okay. Well, excuse me, this one's drawn 15, I think, It's got Jason Hart on board, and Jason Hart rode it last time. Was he getting used to the horse, ready for getting it lined up for this race? Because to be honest, it's not going to win a race of prize money much more than 12 grand, and that's what this is. You're talking your three, four, six, maybe 8 grand races that this horse might go for. This is its kind of cup final, and um, I can't ignore Ruth Carr. I think she's a cracking trainer, and she's very good. She's a bit like the old Dandy Nichols, I think. Not so much, well, sometimes as sprinters, but she'll get these horses where they've completely lost the way, and she can kind of like bring them back, or get a horse that slightly lost its way, help it lose its way even further to the basement mark, and then go on a prolific run. Read into that what you want to, but I just think she's very good at making horses win again. You can make me win again, looking back at when we first. Anyway, Cogitate in the 3 o'clock at Newbury, far too big a price, and I think this is the horse where it was drawn poorly one of the times. I do think it's got a decent chance. Billy Loughnane on board, and I think it's Ed Walker. Not definite, but it makes no difference who trains it, just as long as somebody's been training it. The next selection is Mr. Mojito in the. I've lost my way now. Is it 7 minutes past three race at Doncaster? It's got an obvious chance. It travels well in the race, so I'm just hoping it stays on the bridle for as long as it can, and it finishes its race off well. The next selection is Supreme King in the 320 at Ripon. And this horse has been running well, but sometimes it's actually. I think it. Let me just have a quick click on it because I can't leave you hanging. I think it might be David Evans. I might be wrong. Yep, David Evans doesn't have runners every day, well, every year in this race. Although this horse did come um, placed in the consolation race last year, Supreme King did, and that day it was drawn on the wrong side. It was drawn what's classed as the far side, which is low numbers, even though it was drawn 8. It's drawn 15, which I think will be the best draw pretty much. I think it's 15 of 17 it's drawn, and it's got a right chance. The probably my two strongest fancies are probably the St Wilfred. They're probably the two most competitive races um, on Saturday, the Great St Wilfred and the consolation race. I really like the look of them. Woodstock, in my opinion, it's been running over 7 furlongs, and I think the 6 furlong at Ripon. I would like to have seen it run a couple of times, but I can't find that it's run at Ripon before. But I think they'll go off like clappers, and it travels well, so it could end up finishing the race very well if they go off a little bit too quick. But I do think it wants or likes a fast pace to run out. The next selection is, or the final selection is Spy Chief in the 335 at Newbury. So I was drawn between two horses, and they're probably going to be similar prices tomorrow. Without looking again, the horse I originally fancied was something like Witness Stand or whatever, something like that. Um, Jamie Insall and Dr. Richard Newland. So I thought that had got a chance. So what normally happens is when I tip or change my mind, the one I change my mind from normally wins. Well, both of them are in outstanding form, but I've just gone for Spy Chief, just the fact that it's a little bit more progressive, as in like it's only ran something like 5 times, and it's putting some really good figures on the board when it comes to racing post ratings. Don't get me wrong, um, Witness Stand or something similar of that name, that horse put an outstanding figure on. I think it was at Goodwood last time. It's also won at Newbury since. Sorry, not since. Previously, but the run at Newbury previously, which I think was at the back end of last year, up until this year, was its best ever figure. So clearly, Witness Stand loves this course as well. I can't really split them, but I've just gone for Spy Chief because at the moment it's a slightly bigger price, and I think it's just a little bit more There's a little bit more room for improvement. It's shot up in its Racing Post ratings, and it just seems really progressive. Although what I'm saying is, number one, Witness Stand is well clear on the ratings, even with the penalty that it's got. So it's interesting. So those are the horse racing selections. The football selections will be in the description and the comment section. I want to say no later by 12 o'clock Saturday dinner time. I'm at work tomorrow morning, only for a couple of hours. So I'm going to have a look when I get back at the football. Don't worry, I only picked a couple of matches, but I might have a bit more than that tomorrow. So anyway, I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.